Hello, everybody. I'm happy to be back with another young Indian, smiling face, as I can see, part of the Voice of the Young series. Right now, we have with us Harshita Duggal. Let's listen to her. Over to you, Harshita.
Hi everyone. This is Harshita. I currently work as a government relations and a public policy manager at Paytm. I did my graduation in economics from LSR, and after that I made a switch to development sector. I think it was the development economics part that made me do it. That I wanted to study what's happening on the ground. So I did my master's from Tata Institute of Social Sciences in development studies. I have always been a person who I enjoy studying, but more than that, I enjoy working. So, like, if I run through my life till now, I interned with a lot of organizations because I always wanted to learn. I always wanted to meet new people in the development sector. I wanted to understand what perspective, what particular job role entails, what are the people doing in this particular profile. So that's how I started working with NITI Aayog, JPAL, the Nudge Institute, FICCI, then some corporates, and Paytm is like my first job, and also first I won't say first, but like a proper corporate experience. Though I do work in government relations public policy, which is like influx of the development sector, but it's very different from what we do like in core development. It's a very corporate perspective of development. That's pretty much about me.
Well, tell us more. Tell us about your college days. Tell us about your days in this and how you chose. I
Yeah.
mean, younger people are, what I've been told now is that younger people want to know how you made your decisions so that this can help them make their decisions. Why not
Mm.
science? Why not IIT? Why economics? Why development? So, all these issues, which the younger people are grappling with and you have grappled with.
I haven't talked about the development sector in very long while. I think I've been like so engrossed. But what made me choose switch my field was I think this one experience. I after my college hours back in graduation, I used to work with this NGO called Chahal, where I used to teach maths to kids of fifth, seventh standard. And as a part of our volunteering program, I always liked doing it. Like I always liked helping people. It was something that I enjoyed. I just enjoyed making people happy. So it was not a skill, it was something that I got enjoyment out of, happiness out of. So I used to just write papers for the blind. That's when I realized that there's a society in our college who does that. So I became a coordinator for that society in my last year. I joined the society in the second year. And I think the life-changing moment I remember was when I went to the place where the rural area or the urban rural area of Zamrudpur. Yes, I was recalling the name, which was just like walking distance from our college. And I remember how dingy the colonies were. And I went to their, the students I used to teach, I went to their apartment, I saw. I was so pleased. I mean, the rooms were small, but I was just so pleased with the gesture. I feel like how I couldn't even get that kind of gesture in civil life. That was something that, made me choose the sector because when I went, with the little money they had, they treated us. And I saw how one mother ran away with some lover and the other mother was taking care of that child. So a lot of belongingness. So I thought that time that I want to do something in this sector. At that time, I wanted to go for this Gandhi fellowship. That is a lot, but my parents did not allow me because after eco everyone was doing job and I was going for Gandhi fellowship, wanted to go in tribal areas, work there for 2 years. And with Indian parents mentality, they're like, what if you get raped? What if they were like security threats? But cut short to that, I went to TIS and my mother was the one who sent me to Jharkhand alone. And that time she was not scared. She was like, you go, you do whatever you want to do. So I think for me, the life experience is the first one was Chahal when I went to there. And second was when I met one of my mentors. at Nudge Institute, which I was interning under him while I was at TIS. And I realized there were much bigger issues in life. So I remember my professor from LSR used to say, just because it's not your problem does not mean it's not a problem. So I think that's been stuck in my mind since a very long time. And cut to that. So I was like, yeah, I always wanted to get in the sector. But what I feel when I was at TIS, like at economics, while I was doing economics, we were not like very aware about what are the ideologies, how sensitive you need to be towards a lot of factors. But at TIS, it teaches you sensitivity to a lot of issues. It teaches you ideologies. It teaches you which way of life you want to lead. Apart from even academics, job profile, this is something it teaches you a way of life, which way of life you want to adopt. But again, like everything comes down to money and everything comes down to jobs. So that was really bad at this because everyone expects you ki after masters you should settle for something like 5 to 6 LPA jobs, which for me came as a shocker because I studied from a tier 1 college, like a really good degree from there. So I was a proper hustler there because I did not want to settle for less in life. So I settled for more. That's why I landed at Paytm. But I won't like it's a great work, it's great, but sometimes you feel that it's not for you because you know why you came to the sector. So I'm struggling between the choices I made in the past. Okay, was it just like, you were proving to the world that you wanted to settle for more because you thought your worth was more, or settling for less was only more? So that's a debate that keeps going in your mind. Yeah, that's me.
It's a debate that many people have in their
Hmm.
minds. And unfortunately, we don't have a system of dual track,
Hmm.
which is one official track and one side unofficial track. Meaning, I urge everybody to say, look, your grandparents and parents sacrificed. You don't need to sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
India is mature. In
Yeah.
our times, it was different. But those days are gone, thankfully. And
Hmm.
today, if you make good money, that's good. I'm an economist. I support the idea. Okay, make money. Why not?
Mhm.
It's the right thing to do. Do it. And but there is a little urge uh, in many people, not in all, but in some, that they still want to do something that's not just for themselves.
Hmm.
And we don't have a system of letting people do that something without compromising the earning or
That's
without
true. Yeah.
compromise. We don't have that system. And actually, uh, I do have an opportunity, but I'll talk about that offline. This is not my time. This Vidped is not my time to talk. I'll talk to you offline. But indeed, I think we need to have a clearer sense in India that, look, no need to sacrifice to young people. When people ask me what should I do, in college I say have fun because that time will not come back.
Yeah, true.
That time will not come back. Trust me, it won't come back. Have fun and make good friends and make good connections and enjoy your life and learn from any possible way that you can.
Hmm.
And then, of course, if you want to make money, in today's India, it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing at all. And please go ahead and do it. And if you are productive and prosperous, the economy will be productive and prosperous. Though the money is going to you, but indirectly, we are looking at GDP. GDP adds up everybody's earnings. So if your incomes are going up indirectly, the GDP is going up. Okay, it's not selfish. It's part of your GDP, and we
Yeah.
should aim for it. And yet, we need a little bit of balance. Not all. Some people need a balance. And you say you need a little bit of balance, and I understand it. And we will talk about that offline. But in the meantime, I want to hear about your own experience in college, so that people who are in high school, 11th and 12th, they understand from your perspective what college is, what it gave you, things like that. So I'm trying to have a little bit of trickle down of knowledge,
Yeah. I got it.
experience and knowledge, because I didn't set out with anything, but this is what I hear from people who do Vidpeds. One fellow said to me, "Sir, I wish I could have heard myself 6 years ago." Because what I know from 6 years of experience was what I did not know at that time. And if I'd heard somebody with those 6 years of experience, it would have helped me. So you have enough of experience, enough of knowledge, and that, in the old days, you could talk to your seniors and listen to them. But today we can do it electronically.
Yeah,
So
that's a
why
big
don't you
plus.
pass on some of your experience, your choices? How did you even decide to do economics in college? How did you get into LSR? All these things that,
Oh
young
God.
people are
It's a fun
involved.
story, actually.
Yeah, so
I'll
go ahead.
Yeah. But apart from that, like on a lighter note, I feel like your youth, like the years I am in, the years in college, it's only to make friends, make memories, fall in love, do the mistakes, regret them. Then you'll realize eventually all the mistakes I thought I made in college, and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna regret this. I do not regret them right now. I'm at that page because I was like, if I hadn't did like, if I didn't do that, so I wouldn't be at this place right now.
So
So I
can you give an example of one such mistake?
no, like very normal mistakes, like you fell in love with the wrong guy, that kind of mistake, or you uh, picked the wrong, you picked the wrong subject as your uh, minor or major. Like you get those supplementary subjects. For example, working harder on my dissertation is something that I regret a lot. But if I had worked hard on my dissertation, then I would have done those kind of internships that I did. So there are a lot of things that contemplate that you should have done this, you should have done that. But then again, I feel that every part, like either it's emotional or career wise, everything has contributed to what I am today. And today I am sort of content. Of course, I always like thrive for more in life, so that's there. But I'll tell you how I got into LSR. I was so clueless about LSR at that time. I was like, my mother is a gold medalist in economics. So she had coaching institutes in Chandigarh, where I'm based out of. Not currently, like I'm born in Chandigarh. So she had an institute, and she taught batches, and those kids were like year one, year two. And then she was like, you have to get into LSR. And I was like a 17, 18-year-old kid who was in her adolescence years. Nothing more mattered. Good clothes, good parties, is all that. It was all fun times. I wasn't taking life seriously, but my mother made sure that I do. I am really glad that she did. I remember she locked me in a room. We had like a 3-bedroom set. My dad's in the army. So we got this 3-bedroom accommodation. And so she moved out of her room. I moved out of my room, and then we moved to a smaller room. And she used to make me solve like around 12 books of economics, like every MCQ, like make me practice paper 3 hours every day. And I remember I did not go to school at all, only to give exams. I was on a medical leave all the time. She did not let me to talk to of any of my friends, except my boyfriend at that point, who used to be like, okay, you talk to him alternate days. Otherwise, I was like fully locked in a room. Ki, you go and study, Harshita, you have to. And then I remember a New Year day. So like this is the wall. She took a pen, marker, and then she wrote nothing but the best, LSR economics, 98%. I did not get 98, I got 97, but I made it to LSR. And I think that was the happiest day of her life and my life, because it was just because of her that I was there. And definitely my dad and my brother, because they were the ones who were sidelined because of me, because the full focus was on me. So there was no TV, no Wi-Fi connected at that time. It was like full focus on our cats. So when I went to LSR first year, so I was lost. I remember I was like so underconfident because I thought like, I came here just because of my mama and I do not have any skill set of my own. But with time, I made friends. And that is what college life is for. Your friends will make you confident. Even if you're like, you're going to fail the exam, they'll boost your confidence like this. Like, bro, you're going to slay this exam. You're like the queen, everything. I don't know what words they'll say to hype you up. So after that, I feel it was just friends who like boosted my confidence at that point, and I was able to do well. All my three friends at LSR ended up doing MBA, and I was the one who picked up a different field. So definitely, like our opinions now in the workspace is very different. But who talks about work when you're with friends?
Right. Right.
Yeah. Then when I went to TIS, it was a very different atmosphere because our college, so it was in Hyderabad. And in Hyderabad, also very rural setting. Our college was there. So as a result of which, we were not able to go out that often. In LSR has been a very competitive college. Like everything was about career. Whereas TIS was all about bonding, emotional understanding. Are you feeling okay? They were more conscious about how you feel. Is this right? They used to contemplate that. However, LSR was a rat race, but you were like surrounded by such empowered women that you became empowered yourself. So that is one thing that I take back from LSR. And LSR, I feel, has changed me completely. And then I went to TIS, I became so like a lot more conscious about what my surroundings are, what privileges. I think privilege is the most used word at TIS. Yeah. So, but my friends at TIS were like, it was very different. I think we were at a better emotional level also, that you connected better, you were able to understand your assignments better. The academic area was very heavy at TIS. I remember the assignments were a lot. We had like 9 to 10 subjects per semester. And I don't know why they make masters like that. Instead, they should just like take you out and they're like, this is the case study. You look at the case study, you talk to the people, and then you write about it. They had those internship programs, but I feel still a lot can be done to, change the learning mechanism, because I still feel that I learned the most while doing those internships. I wouldn't have learned that much. Like my communication skills or the skill sets I have right now, it's not majorly because of how much I've read, because you read so fast that your mind does not retain that much. Because there are so many assignments, you've completed one assignment, then you go on to the next one. It's like fast paced. But when you want to read, you have to like be like in a mindset. You want to do it slow. You want to do it calmly. Then another thing that I enjoyed at this was setting up the placement cell. I think there was no concept of placement cell that time. And we did really well for our batch because I think that was like the first time somebody was taking placement seriously. And it only came because I came from a college where placements were very important. So that experience helped. And that got me the highest package, the highest designation, till like nobody before me got that. So definitely that was a big achievement for me back then. And now I'm like thriving ki I should achieve more. That's why.
Tell us what it's like in this job. I mean, I don't want you to tell us any secrets or anything, but what kind of corporate work is this, which is actually not bottom line oriented, I guess? But ultimately, it helps to the bottom line, but it's directly not bottom line oriented. So, what is it? I mean, I'm also curious.
Whenever we talk about corporate, it's always about profit making.
Yes.
You won't be able to benefit others without benefiting yourself first.
Yes.
So when you corporate, is all about money, and who will know it better than you?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's all. So when I talk about my profile, it's basically collaborating with governments on the various schemes, but also with the incentive that it benefits us also. So it's not the reason the profile is very interesting for a lot of people, but I find it very slow paced. I find it very in Indian terms, very sarkari babu kind of jobs. And I being from TIS, I do not like giving anyone that privileged position of power. So I feel that is the major reason why I'm not very fit for the
Okay.
current role. Yeah.
Which are the government people you talk to?
We talk to people at
Broadly
ministry.
speaking. Broadly speaking.
Broadly speaking, in the profile, I'm not talking about my particular organization. I'm just
Yeah.
talking about the profile. You collaborate with, you talk to ministries, Ministry of Agriculture, Defense. For example, uh, if a fintech company, they will mostly do business with MITI, Ministry of Electronics, Ministry of Finance, because that's their major area. And also they can do, like, there was a project where I worked with Ministry of Agriculture. So you identify projects where you can, you help government. For example, Paytm in general has helped a lot of people because of the digital payments, and with the Digital India program done by Modi. We feel that, it's important that everyone has that Paytm QR code. Everyone has a QR code to make the payments, because nobody now in India carries cash. They hardly, very few people. So it aims at, making sure that tier 3, tier 4 cities, all of every sabzi mandi person should have a QR code, so that, he is not lagged behind because of not being digitally empowered. So there's something that will be the bottom line for us. But again, I don't want to
No, we
explicitly.
don't want to hear specifics,
Yeah, yeah.
obviously.
Yes.
But, so what do you see? What are your tips for young people? That's my main interest.
I'll still say don't settle for less. You know what your skill set is. You know what kind of degree you are from, like what you deserve. Everyone has a market price. I would not recommend anyone to settle for less. I have talked to a lot of people, my fair share of people in development sector, and everyone says, if you want to do development, why do you want to pay? Like, if you really want to do something, then how can you be selfish? Because I have two kind of families, secondary family, primary family. Secondary will be the society that I want to serve. Primary will be my parents, my brother. I want to suffice them also. And that money can do. How you can be emotionally available for them, but if I want to take a flight, any last moment, I want that kind of money in my account. So you can't debate a lot about this, but I feel that in development sector, like in comparison to, if I do a comparison between the MBA grads and the development sector, both the curriculums are very hard, very intense, but still the MBA people are paid way more than what people are paid in development sector when they are doing actual work, when they are actually, giving recommendation how to make improvements in the society, how to make better urban planning in the society, or how to how to bring water to a particular tribal area. This is the kind of work I've seen in development sector. This is the kind of work I've gone to visited, but they are so underpaid. And till the time you don't land up with UN or Bills and Melinda Gates Foundation, you are not going to earn better. You're not. If you expect a double-digit LPS, CTC, they make you feel guilty about it, which I do not like. Why should you? I've like talked to a lot of juniors from my batch, from my course, and they're like, this is the packages we are coming. They are settling for 20,000, 30,000 and per month, but that's not how it should be. Like you did a lot of the basically you did this degree to to serve the country, because a lot of people who come into this degree are the ones who weren't able to complete clear UPSC CSE exam. That's one more thing, which is the biggest gamble I feel. I also thought of doing it, but I can't give those precious years of my life into some preparation, because it's a biggest gamble, UPSC CSE, and people, like, I have seen people give years to it. Sometimes you clear pre, then you clear mains, but then your rank doesn't come, or you're like missed by 1 mark. Then you're like, okay, I'll work hard again. Maybe this time I clear. Yeah. So a lot of people from that field come into this sector. So I'm like, you've already wasted your precious years, but you're so educated because you know every core. You're like so well versed with news, and you want to, like, that kind of skill set should be paid like 4 LPA, 5 LPA. That's not fair. And
Yeah.
I have seen people on field, the kind of work they do. They're in villages, they're on like in tribal areas all the time. They're physically exhausted, emotionally exhausted, and like the salary that they get in their accounts, it's hard,
Okay.
hard to see.
Yeah.
So that's one thing.
Okay. Anything else you want to add here?
Like last line.
Oh, whatever. You have a lot of time. Go ahead, talk.
There's only that one line that I go by every day. Okay,
Yeah.
whatever phase you are in, or is it a happy phase? It's a bad phase. This too shall pass.
Okay.
I remember back at LSR, they made us do this exercise in our first year of college. They made us write things. You write chits and you'll get these chits back in your third year. So I remember even that time I just wrote this too shall pass. Whether it's a good period or a bad period, it will pass, but you enjoy it. You suffer with it, you enjoy it,
Yeah.
whatever phase it is, but you
Yeah.
experience it.
Yeah.
And I feel it's very important to experience both hard times and fun times
Okay.
to be where you are at.
Okay. All right. So, if you have nothing else to add here, then we can end it here today. But if you have something you want to conclude with, please go
Yeah.
ahead.
There's one more thing because I've experienced it and I've seen it also. The last thing that will be how, like freshers in their first job are treated as assistants and not subjects who can actually be the ones to take your projects higher. They're young minds. Because see, you are doing something like Voice of Young because you want to understand the perspective of young, right? But I feel the organizations here are with the kind of mindset that, they might not be able to do it, but you have to teach them well. They are coming as a fresher, but you only have to train them, not them learning from scratch on their own.
Yeah.
That they'll anyway do. But I feel to make them like, well, good at their job.
Yeah.
I feel there was, I think, a post that I came across LinkedIn. Like, what will you prefer? A bad company with a good manager or a bad manager with a good company? So
Yeah.
a lot of people said bad company, but with a good manager because if the difference is made by the manager
Yeah.
in the organization. And also better sexual harassment policies
Yeah.
should be implemented. I feel posh policies are really bad in corporates.
Yeah.
Seen my friends, and I feel that's something that it's food for thought.
Okay. All
That's
right.
it. So
All
I'll
right.
conclude the
All right.
thing.
So thank you, Harshita. It's been a pleasure to listen to you.
Thank
Let's
you
end
so
the recording here today. I'll be
much.
back with another young person or an expert soon. Till then, bye everybody.